I want to give you an explanation of the blockchain and what it really is and why it's important, and the people and the individuals um, who are important for ushering what I call the fifth age. The fifth age is what we're in now. It's a transition between the fourth age, which ended in December 2012. The transition stage at the ending from 2012 to 2021, right, was a transition, and now we're actually in the fifth age. Um, and how and what does this image, which you may recognize as the Mayan Zodiac, it's actually the Mayan Zodiac Prophecy. It's kind of like a Rosetta Stone hidden in plain sight for me as the storyteller of UnDaoDu, the guy in the middle, to explain to you its meaning and why it's important. So let's talk about it. And the first folks are the cyberpunks. The cyberpunks are these four individuals down here. This is monitor, keyboard, mouse, and monitor plugging into the internet. You can see the keyboards here. This is code on screen. And the cyberpunks were cryptographers. Hal Finney was one of them, and there's a couple others. I'm not going into detail, but ultimately Hal Finney was one of them. And they were actually working as part of the CIA or NASA to develop a way to track money laundering, right? In regards to gambling, trafficking, by creating what would be an unseizable asset, right, that people could hold. And that's what Bitcoin is. And Bitcoin was first promoted on gambling applications and other things as a form of currency. And there was, gambling apps and betting apps. They were the first apps that came out with Bitcoin. And ultimately, it was, that's what its purpose was. Because you may not be able to take someone's Bitcoin, but if you put them in jail, who cares? It's like the guy from Silk Road, right? Who cares? He can't spend his Bitcoin in jail. It is stuck. And ultimately, this is the cyberpunks right here. The next guy is Brock Pierce, and he's the elephant in the room. He's the elephant. The eye's got the bandana, the long hair. I mean, anyone who is Brock, it looks just like Brock. He has this Brock smile on his face. And you notice Brock is staring at these cyberpunks because back then, when Bitcoin was being developed, Brock, starting in the late 90s, was selling online gold, Ultima Online and WoW and other games. There were, Asheron's Call, you name it. He had a whole business, $1 million business that he built selling virtual gold. So the moment he saw Bitcoin, he was like, aha, I get it. He's smiling at, at these guys. And he knows a lot about this, and he won't share. I've talked to him a few times about it. But Brock is a great guy. And regardless, he's had some story past. He's a good guy, and he means good, and he wants to do good, and he would make a great president. Next to Brock is Satoshi and Bitcoin. Satoshi is ephemeral. You don't know who he is, right? He's ephemeral. He's Hal Finney, right? And here is hovering Bitcoin. So this is important because he is a character, even though he's a fictitious, even though Hal is one of these guys here. He's a cyberpunk. You'll notice the next guy, it's Matthew, and Wright. I don't know why I have the twins up there, right? Is staring at them. But the twins, I guess I went from the twins. I need to fix that. It should go to this guy right here. This is Matthew and Wright. I guess the reason why I said the first big money that went into Bitcoin were the Facebook twins, and here they are, right here. They're the founders of Nexo, and they put all their Facebook money into Bitcoin. It's a good gamble, and it's the twins. The big X means big money, big exposure on that. Matthew N. Wright, now he was blacklisted on Bitcoin Talk, which is the original forum for Bitcoin. It is run by some very powerful individuals. Think about, there are billionaires now that run that forum. And he got blacklisted. He had over 4,000 posts. He was kicked off of the forum, and he wanted to devour. And you see him right here. He's staring at Bitcoin and wanting to devour it, and wanting to bring an end to, to Bitcoin. And what his idea was a project, was a stealth name called Small Planet, and .net. And you could do research and look into it. Small Planet is the predecessor to Ethereum. And back then, he had two coders, and they're antitheses. They were antitheses because they ended up running away. That's the reason why they're opposite to him. They start over here, okay? And that's the next guy here, is Mihao Lisi, was one of the lead coders. And the next person who invested the money was Joe Lubin. And the person, which is the rabbit, and if you look at DevCon 5, the logo of DevCon 5 is this unicorn. Here's the unicorn. Here it is. The saddle at the back. This looks just like the DevCon 5. It was Vitalik Buterin. Now, understand, it was Matthew N. Wright, ETH Satoshi, right? Or call him, not ETH Satoshi, but Waldo ETH. Waldo ETH is my hashtag for him, Waldo ETH. And ultimately, he started the Bitcoin magazine. He was the CEO, founder, and all of a sudden he disappears. No one knows where Matthew N. Wright is. He ran off with a bunch of money, or was killed, or he was living in where was it? It's across from me, not Korea at the time, right? And he disappeared. And all of a sudden, Vitalik came out as the founders. Both these guys were given founders of Bitcoin Magazine, and the money behind it was Joe Lubin. And I had the ability to kind of chat with Joe in 2016 at DevCon 2. What was that one? I think it was DevCon 2, Ethereum DevCon 2 in Shanghai. We had a great debate and chat, and he did not deny anything that I had said, and knew that I obviously was involved in some degree with it. But the next person in this story is Gavin Wood. It was really important. Vitalik brings on Gavin. They're the big coders here, and he created the programming language and everything else. Gavin is very important in the development of Ethereum. So all these guys are Ethereum, and you'll notice that Joe, Ethereum Joseph, right, is glaring at these two guys because he wants to disrupt them. He wants to basically take away their wealth, right? He's a whale, they're whales, and he's a demon. And he's paid his demon for me to look out, right? And, watch out, because he is a whale, he's a shark, and even I'm connected with him, and I have no animosity towards him, but he has good in his heart, I believe, and but he's 100% focused on Ethereum. The next guy is number 15. Okay, so 12, 13, 14, 15. Pomp, Max Kaiser, or Michael Saylor, right? I believe he could be all three, right? Pompeo, Max Kaiser, and Saylor. I think more likely it's Michael Saylor. It's very important, right? What he has done and opened the corporation, which he started doing late 2020, was buying Bitcoin, and he continues to buy Bitcoin, right? And this is important because it's going to drive other companies, and the reason for him buying Bitcoin is because of the depreciation of the dollar. If you've issued 25% more dollars, right, what is the $1 billion that you owe? You've just diluted that by 25%. So you have to understand, people who have lots of money, they don't want this money being issued to the people, because it means their wealth, their millionaire, is being diluted by all this additional money. Sailor doesn't so realizes that and says, well, you know what? What I'm going to do is hold Bitcoin because, for example, if you would have put your stimulus check of $600 into Bitcoin last year, it would be worth $7,000 today. Okay, so if you're getting a stimulus check, put $100 into it because it will pay for itself. Um, the next person, actually, I don't know why I jumped over here, is actually down here is Lewis and George. They're the folks working on the of DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, the framework for arbitration, everything else. They've done amazing work on that in the organization. So they're focused on how an entity would run on the blockchain. And there's two of them here, and that's two Spaniards, Luis and Jorge. I had the opportunity to meet them at DevCon 5 in Osaka. Two great guys on that. Here is Cardano, Charles Hoskins, right? So it looks just like Charles. I look at him, I go, that's Charles, 100%. Anyone who knows Charles, I think, would say that looks like Charles. He has kind of that droopy eye. He had kind of like a mustache or something going on. He likes to wear kind of crazy clothes and turtlenecks and stuff like that. It's so Charles, on there. Cardano is really important. Now, if you notice, if I zoom in on here, okay, there's Cardano right by my hand. The most important token, in my view, is Cardano, right? Is important. I have Elixir there. That's Ethereum, the first one, right at the forehead coming out. The work of UnDaoDu was on there. Elixir is important. Here's EOS. That's Cardano, and I can't remember what that one is. All right, but Cardano is an important token on that, and there's going to be literally thousands of of tokens on that. I don't know if I screwed it up by going in and out. I believe this is blockchain Yang. This is Andrew Yang. He's still young. I think he's going to be our first blockchain president. He's really important. Yang is so important because he understands the ramifications of AI. We're not losing jobs to immigrants, right? And immigrants are going to be losing jobs to AI. You're going to have strawberry picker AI. You're going to have everything, weed picker AIs. You're going to have these. If they don't even have them, I'm surprised they have. They do have them. But think of these spider, autonomous, vehicles that charge and recognize weeds and just plucks them out. Recognize a strawberry, recognize the perfect time to pluck a strawberry, does the packaging. There won't be any manpower needed in farming. That's the reality, that the farming and all that. And so if basically AI is trained and is learned from a master farmer when exactly, like all this data, shouldn't you get a UBI? Shouldn't each of these farmers losing a job get a residual UBI token from these farming bots that come out? Sure. And Andrew Yang ultimately understands we are losing to Amazon. We're losing to Google. We're losing to AI. AI is disrupting the workforce. And we need someone running the country, right? Biden is just a transition from Trump, kind of like all he is a Band-Aid on the gushing wound on the artery from Trump. But the guy coming next is important. And this is who this represents. This, to me, Andrew Yang does that thing with his arms up, right? I look at that. Here's the American flag on himself, right? On there. This is Akira Hishigawa. He's number 19. He's the one who I met on 9/19/2019. I was in Tokyo. I met Akira Hishigawa, number 19. He's a very important guy. He lives not far from me. And ultimately, he gave me this right here. Natsukaze. Natsukaze, I knew is the 2x4 that's going to wreck everything. So what is the 2x4 that's wrecked everything? It's Natsukaze. The Natsukaze is the coronavirus. And I didn't know it was a virus. I just knew it was coming. And I knew it was important that UnDaoDu is staring at it saying this is coming and it's going to change everything. So in 2019, I put that the Natsukaze is coming. The coronavirus, is coming. That was interesting. Well, what did I do? So let me go back. All right. There you go. So Natsukaze is the coronavirus. And there's three stages. You can think of the coronavirus, Black Lives Movement, and the transition from Trump to Biden was the third. The the do, the awakening moment. We're in the awakening moment on that. This is number 18. He's a friend of mine. He is important because he, more or less to me and helping a project that I started at number 15. So he runs a smoke shop in it, but it's a mushrooms, right? He does it with mushrooms. So he's an important dude, and he will play an important role in the future. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'm UnDaoDu.